Welcome back to Just Thoughts Podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Cole Graham, and with me, as always, my buddy, Gabe Baltiera.
What's up, guys?
And today, guys, our topic for today is showing up for others when it matters. And the reason why we're talking about this today is because I recently just ran a canned food drive and letters of thanks to veterans as part of my position of president for the club baseball team at Cal State Fullerton. We always have games on Veterans Day weekend, and we've never really done anything about it. It's always just been, okay, well, we play games on this weekend, and that's really it. So with my position that I got last year, I wanted to give back to the community, and I wanted to do what I could to make this more of an event rather than just calling it Veterans Day event. So we did that, and I think it turned out great.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the pictures on Instagram and they looked like insane. Like the amount of food that you guys got from you, and I think, who was it, UCLA?
Yeah, we played UCLA and they also had their guys bring some stuff out.
That's awesome. So do you know the exact amount that you got, like donation-wise?
Not yet. By the time this episode comes out, I will know. But as of now, I don't know yet.
I mean, it looked like a crazy amount of food.
We think that we got more than we did last year, which is obviously the goal. And obviously, like you mentioned, UCLA came out and they donated. And that's why today's episode is going to be about showing up for others, because they didn't have to do that. And being the person in charge of this event, I worked with the Veterans Resource Center on campus, and they basically help run the event. They will donate the food for us and hold it all. And they're really awesome people. And knowing that I can count on them to be there and help us with this event is great, because I even reached out to family members, neighbors, parents of kids that I don't even really talk to anymore, but they still support me. And it's amazing to see that turnout that I got from people that I asked to come out and donate cans. And my parents had a donation center, as we called it, where they just left like a bin with an envelope on their front porch for people to come by and just drop stuff off.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really, really cool. I think today's episode is going to be really, really awesome, because I think we can go many different ways with this. Like, obviously, the first way is donations and stuff, but I think there's other ways that we show up in people's lives, in maybe not even just like donating maybe money or whatever, but actual like physically donating our own time, if that makes sense. Does that make kind of sense?
Of course, because they didn't have to come out of their way to drop off stuff for me. And it makes you feel good when people show up for you. So when you get the chance to show up for somebody else, whether they invite you to dinner, they invite you to a play or a baseball game or soccer game, go.
Yeah.
Show up for them. They obviously want to hang out with you. They want to see your face. And it's really important to be there for other people when they need you, because even if it's nothing like serious, you still want to be there for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%. I can 100% agree with that. And I think there's something about when you show up for someone, they have such great appreciation for, even if it's just you showing up for 5-10 minutes. Like, they are like, oh my gosh, thank you, Cole, for coming to my baseball game. It means the world to me, right? I think that makes you feel good too, because you're like, hey, I took time out of my day to come see whatever it is, and they give you such appreciation back, which I think is also a really good thing too.
Yeah, because when you're doing something for the thought of this is going to help somebody else, or this is going to make someone else feel good, it in turn makes you feel better. And that's why, if I were to suggest anything, it's we need more of that in the world. We need more people who are willing to go out of their way to support their friends, to support their family, because there's people, I think we said it in our last episode, where there's people that are fighting battles that you'll never know.
Yeah.
And if you show up for them on something so little that you think does not matter whatsoever, they are going to remember that for the rest of their lives. At least, maybe not the rest of their lives, but they're going to remember it for a long time.
For a long time, yeah. And I can actually have a story I want to talk about, going to the idea of supporting like a family member or someone that is a close relative. I went to New Orleans. Shout out New Orleans, amazing spot. To visit my brother who goes to Tulane. Shout out Tulane.
Lots of shout outs.
Yeah,
today.
lots of shout outs. But we were down there. It was me, my mom, her boyfriend, and obviously my brother who goes to school down there. And it was her family weekend. So we're doing all these activities. We were seeing the sights, just having a really good time. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but something happened and my mom had to rush home and all these things. And it was really hard because, you know, being the older brother, you want to protect your younger siblings, right? Especially my sister, who is the only girl out of the three of us, and her and I are super, super close. And it really took a toll on me. And that's why, you know, I was like, oh, this is really hard. Like, what should I do? You know, I live in California. She's in Connecticut. But showing up for her in, I guess, you know, in a hard time is by me actually, you know, taking time off work and going out there. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm going back home to be with her. And even though like I can't say anything to help the situation, just you being there actually helps that person, because they're like, wow, this person flew 2,000 miles, you know, from California to come to Connecticut because they care about me that much. And they may not say it, but I feel like it's going to show, because then obviously this episode is going to come out prior to this. But, you know, I think me just being there and supporting my family and supporting my sister is huge. And that goes to what we're saying with like the food, like donations like that. You're putting your energy into something that you know is for a good cause, right?
Yeah. I mean, so many amazing points right there. It's kind of hard to pick one, but if I were to say something about that, it's time is valuable, and people know that. Like you said, you're going to go to the other side of the country for your sister, and I'd go to the other side of the world, the galaxy, for my sister, my family, my friends. I'd go far, okay? I'd go very far, and that's something that people notice, like you said. And an example of that is when I had my appendix removed. I had an emergency surgery. I was, I think, 13 or 14, whatever age you are going into freshman year of high school.
Yeah, I think that's, 13, 14, somewhere around that age.
So that summer I had an emergency surgery. I had to have my appendix removed. I was on vacation with my whole family, very first weekend of summer too. Like, it could not happen at a worse time. And of course, like, my family doesn't really know what's wrong because I had just eaten a lot of food at the Mexican restaurant the night before. Maybe it's just stomach pains from that or food poisoning. So we don't really know what's going on. But then we realized, okay, it's a lot worse than we thought, and he's got to go to the hospital. And my sister doesn't do well with those things. I don't either, so I don't blame her. And she ended up getting picked up when we were on our way to the hospital, because right when I got there, I think we had like some family friends that were in the area, which was totally coincidental. So they swung by, picked her up, and then I went to the hospital and did the surgery and all that stuff. But then I get to come home like 3 or 4 days later, and I come home to balloons, to flowers, to candy, and all of it was for my sister.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I think she even got me like a new pair of sunglasses, and she didn't have to do any of that stuff because she didn't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple as that. She didn't have to do that, but she went out of her way to do that to make me feel good. And I am beyond thankful for that.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of your sister, I remember one time when we first started dating, this is back in 2021, I believe. Yeah, 2021. And we first started dating. I don't know if she told you this story, but this is probably about 3 or 4 months into dating. And it's right after she had COVID. Remember, she had COVID for...
Which time?
The first time, right after her birthday, which is never a good time to get COVID. But it was right after she had COVID, and it was right around Valentine's Day. You know, Valentine's Day, it's you want to be with your partner.
Love you.
Yeah, exactly. You want to be with your partner. You want to like go to dinner. You want to give each other gifts and all that type of stuff. And this is back when I was at school in Ithaca in upstate New York. And I was like, you know what? I just want to go surprise her. I just want to be there with her, even if it's like not on Valentine's Day, maybe Valentine's Day weekend. So I remember the Thursday, I think Valentine's Day was on a Wednesday. That next day, the 15th, on a Thursday, I booked my flight to LA just because I want to be there with her. And like I think I knew like energy wise and in my soul, like I was like, yeah, she seems kind of sad that we're not together. Like all of her friends are with their boyfriends and she's by herself. So from just feeling that, I was like, I know I just got to do it. And you know, she loved it. We got to spend 4 days together in Long Beach, and we went to dinner and hung out, and like it was amazing. But it was because like you're supporting that person. Like you're like, hey, I know that this is gonna, you know, spend a lot of money. It's gonna be taxing. It's gonna take a long time, but it is worth it at the end of the day. Like you were saying, like she'd have to get you balloons. She'd have to get you candy. She'd have to set up a whole thing when you come back. But that's what makes it so special, is because when people care about you like that and they support you in those ways, it makes you feel like you're on top of the world.
And it did. Her kindness made me feel a lot better because I was expecting just to come home and just see her just sitting there.
Yeah.
Not like in a bad way, but I wasn't expecting her to go out of her way to do stuff for me because she didn't have to. And that's one of the main things that I think everyone in the world needs to do more often is just take the time to be there for other people. Send them a text message. Let them know you love them. Let them know that you're thinking of them, and don't let the opportunity pass to tell them that.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times where I have thought of a person and I'm like, hey, I haven't thought of this person in a long time. I should text them, like say, hey, how's it going? How are you? But I'm so scared to be like almost judged by them being like, oh, why is he texting me? Why does he care? And it's not even about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think I agree. And I think to the texting part, lesson that I just learned about or heard about from our CEO and founder of where I work, he sends out 3 gratitude texts every morning. And it could be to anybody. It could be like a friend, a family member, a coworker, somebody he just met. He just sends out like 3 texts every morning saying, hey, grateful that you're in my life. Hey, can't wait to see you tomorrow. Just, those type of texts. I think we should really do that because there are people that may be thinking, hey, why isn't Kole texting me? Like I've known him forever. He doesn't text me anymore. Or why isn't Gabe reaching out anymore? We used to talk all the time. Because I think we may think it's weird just all of a sudden texting somebody, but it may mean the world to somebody else because just you saying like, hey, how's it going? Could make them feel a whole lot better. And again, like we were saying in our other episode, we have no idea what they're going through. Like that text could be like, a spark of positive energy for them. Like they could be like, oh, somebody actually wants to know what's going on in my life. And that pushes them to go a whole nother direction during their day, right?
Yeah, because I have family members and friends that I don't talk to that often or I don't see that often, unfortunately, that will like my posts or like my reposts of like baseball stuff. Or they'll send like a fire emoji and be like, go get them or something like that. And just recently, actually, the weekend before the canned food drive, speaking of showing up for people, the family that I have in Utah that are the people that actually like will respond to like my baseball stuff when I post it, they randomly showed up to a game.
There you go.
And I was blindsided that they were there. I mean, I was shocked that they showed up because I heard my mom first. I didn't see them. I heard my mom go, oh my God. And I was like, holy crap, what just happened? Like I thought someone fell. I thought, I don't know what, I was thinking the worst. And then I turn around, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They came all the way from Utah to see me play. That they didn't come down all the way to Utah to see me play. They came down for Disneyland, which is right next door to where we play. But hey, they took the time to show up to my games.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if that's the whole reason why they were there was Disneyland, because they still could have just gone to Disneyland and not bothered to come to my games. But they showed up. They took the times out of their busy lives to show up for me.
Yeah.
And to support me. And that made me feel amazing. If you guys are listening, thank you, Stephanie and Taylor.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about, is those special moments. Because, for example, like I know, and I can hold myself accountable because my grandparents live in Madrid, so very, very far away from here. And the only way we kind of communicate is through WhatsApp, which is like it's kind of like iMessage, but you can use it for anywhere around the world. It's not just specifically like an Apple, phone or an iPhone, right? And so I try to make it a habit of texting my grandpa or my grandma like at least once or twice a week. But I've kind of lost that habit. And then I like am randomly scrolling through my phone. I kind of go onto the app. I'm like, dang, it's been a month since I've said something to them. Then I feel bad because I'm like, they want to hear from me. Like they want to know what's going on in my life. And I want to know what's going on in their life. But you just kind of forget. And you're like, oh, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like you just feel bad because like they're so far away that you're like, oh, I don't need to send them a text. They don't, they're just in a whole nother country. But I think it does mean the world to them when I do send them that text. And now I know obviously for you it's different because your grandparents are 3 hours away or 10 minutes down the road. But when you only see them once or twice a year, you're kind of like, man, I should have sent a text. I should have said, hey, I should have, asked them what's going on, because it does mean a lot to them. It does mean that it shows that you care, right? It shows that you actually want to keep that connection going.
And the good thing is you still have time to do that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Because, I mean, I don't want to get like sad and everything, but obviously time keeps on passing, and there's going to be a moment in your life where you're not going to have your grandparents or your best friends, or what, even if it's not like them passing away, whether it's like relationships gets cut off. I don't want to like touch on like all that stuff, but right now time is still on your side where you have that relationship with them still. They're still around. You still have the chance to send them a text whenever you want, and that's something I have to work on too, like same as you. Like, yes, my grandparents only live like 3 hours away, but that still means I'm not seeing them very often,
right?
Or as much as I would like to. So that's something maybe you and I can work on together. Let's just keep each other in check with that. Like, don't let these relationships go unappreciated, and don't miss opportunities to let each other know that, hey, I love you, man.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I love you, man. Like, I'll tell you right now.
I love you guys.
Yeah, I love you guys. Just Thoughts listeners, we love you guys.
Yeah.
Like, because that's really what it is. Like, everyone just needs a little bit of support. Everyone needs a little bit of love. And there's no better time than the present to do it now.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree. And I think going back to the grandparents idea and them being far away, I remember we would see them every year during the summertime because I was like, obviously we didn't have school and stuff. But now that I'm out of school and I don't have that obligation to go to Chapman or go to my high school, whatever, it's like I can go see them whenever I want. But I still am like, do I really want to go there? But then you just brought up a great idea of like, who knows how much time they have left? You know, they're 75, 80, 85 years old.
It's the unfortunate truth.
Yeah. So like these past couple of weeks, I was talking to my dad. I was like, hey, I do want to go to Spain this summer. I do want to go to see them, because even if it's just for a week or 10 days, like I know how much it's going to mean to them to see their grandchild, to see like people that they haven't seen in 6-7 months. Last time we saw them was last December for, a couple of days after Christmas. And it meant the whole world to them, because they're like, oh my gosh, we get to see you. Like, the whole family's here. We get to go to dinner. We get to walk around. And, that's what kind of hit me. I was like, it's not just about me. It's also about them, right? Like we're always saying, like we're supporting other people. It's like, yes, it feels good for you because you're, traveling and you're going all that way. But for them, it's like, oh my gosh, I feel so special because this person traveled across the Atlantic Ocean to come see me. And I think that's, again, that's just showing love. And I think, if our listeners take anything away, it's, yes, support is a huge thing, but also showing compassion and love is a huge part of it, because again, we don't know what anyone's going through. We don't know what their story is. We don't know what's going on behind the curtain or behind the scenes. And, going that extra mile or even that extra inch can change their entire life, can put them on a whole new direction that we don't even think to ourselves, but to them, it's like, oh my gosh.
Is anyone else just getting insanely motivated now?
That's my job. That's my job. But yeah, no, I think it's the little things, man. It's the little things.
Yeah, it really is, because, I mean, my mom even mentioned that a few of the people that donated cans to my event, I don't even know them. They have never met me. I've never met them, but they know of me through my mom, obviously, because they're friends with my mom. But they have no idea what that means to me. I don't know you, but you're going to support me? I mean, how crazy is that? I mean, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. And especially, like, I think it's cool because we can think about it in sports terms. It's like, yes, UCLA is a rival. You don't want, obviously, like, it's when the game starts, we're not friends.
All bets are off.
Right. But like, I don't know how many players donated, but like they came and they brought cans of food, and like there was that moment of like, oh, I don't even know who you are. You go to a whole nother school in a whole nother county, but you had the kind heart to see that we're doing something. We're trying to make a change, and you brought, even if it was like 2 cans, you still brought something to donate, which I think is amazing on UCLA. Shout out UCLA. That's amazing that they did that, because they didn't have to do that.
Yeah, and I don't even know most of their names, if any, actually.
Yeah. Like they could have been like, oh, it's a Fullerton thing. We don't need to do that. But they're like, no, we want to help out. And their donation, obviously, I don't know how much they donated. Like,
it was a good amount.
It was a good amount, but like
it was more than they needed to.
Right. But that pushed like the numbers over from, hopefully it was more than last year, because obviously last year was just the Fullerton guys and it was at a game. But that just goes to show, like, again, the little things make a huge difference, right?
Yeah, and I would almost challenge you guys to, in your everyday life, whether it's today, tomorrow, this week, set a goal for yourself to be there for at least one of your friends or a stranger.
Yeah.
Be there for one person once a week, once a day, however many times you guys feel like doing it. just be there for them. Support them, love them, hold the door open for them, take them out to get some food, take them to the movies. Just don't let the opportunity pass it by.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a great way. And I think, but as we're closing this out, I want to tell a quick story with that on the note of just being kind to strangers. I was at the gym this past week, and this older gentleman was lifting to the right of me. So at my gym, there's this huge area of just lifting platforms, and I was deadlifting, and I was pulling some heavy weight. I was pulling like 455, and he was doing, must have been around like 100, 110 pounds. And he was like definitely older. He was like probably like 70, 75 years old. And he came up to me, he was like, "Hey man, like, how do you get so strong? What's your workout routine?" And I took like 10 minutes out of my day, didn't have to, 10 minutes out of my day, just kind of talk to him. And then at the end of the day, I was like, "Hey man, you're doing an awesome job. Keep it going. You look super, super strong. Not a lot of people can pull the weight you're pulling, at this age." And like, I could see it just made him happy because someone was acknowledging that his hard work was actually making a change in his life. And people were noticing it, like not just him, but like a stranger, someone that just goes to the gym is noticing it. And I was like, that's what it's all about. It's like the small little things. Like, I could have not said anything. I could be like, "Oh, thanks, man," and then just walked away. But just taking that time and being like, "Hey, I don't know who you are. I don't even know his name." But It was just like, that was a special moment. And then I could see as I was giving him that compliment and saying, "Hey, you're doing a great job, man," that he was like, "Oh man, I'm going to go crush this workout." Like that's little things. And it's a complete stranger. I have no idea who he is or if I'll ever see him again at the gym.
That's just a beautiful story. And I really think that we should end on that because I don't think we're going to be able to top that story. No. So on the topic of supporting one another and loving each other, if you guys would like to support us, be sure to check out our new YouTube channel. It's at Just Thoughts Podcast on YouTube. And if you guys listen to it on Apple Podcast or Spotify, be sure to turn on notifications, subscribe there, subscribe on YouTube as well. We're still getting used to this new outro with the YouTube in the mix. So check out the YouTube. Leave us a review on podcast or Spotify. And if you guys like to check out our Instagram and TikTok, we're on there as well at Just Thoughts Pod. That's at Just Thoughts POD. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Later, guys.